So Vicky asks, why is my belt red if I'm an 8th degree black belt? Well, Vicky, that's an excellent question, and we're going to get into that right now. So the first thing I want to do is preface that I'm going to use Japanese to discuss the belt system. Why? Because it originated with the Japanese martial arts. Even though Korean martial arts, Okinawan martial arts, and even Chinese martial arts, Filipino martial arts, and I've seen other martial arts around the world using the belt system now. So we're going to use Japanese terminology to discuss some of this stuff. First thing we need to do is recognize there are 3 levels. What you have called Mu Dansha, Yu Dansha, and Ko Dansha. When you have a Mu Dansha, Dan being a black belt grade, and calling it a black belt grade is actually the wrong thing, as you'll see as we go through this discussion here. A Mu Dansha is someone who does not have a Dan grade. So this would be your white belts, yellow belts, green belts, brown belts, whatever other belts you use to designate someone who does not have a black belt yet. This belt causes some confusion because in the Korean martial arts, they like to use this before the black belt. And there's a hypothesis behind that. We'll get into that hypothesis a little bit later. Some of the Japanese martial arts also use this before black belt. Not a lot of them, but some of them do. But we'll get into that later. Yu Dansha are ones who hold a Dan grade, typically designated by a black belt. Ko Dansha are people who have had a Dan grade for a long time. Ko meaning old. So basically a Ko Dansha would be someone who's held a Dan grade for a long time. These are usually people who are considered masters of the system. Usually at the 5th Dan, sometimes at the 5th degree, you are considered a master of the system. Everything past 5th degree is based upon what you give back to the system to help keep the art alive and to spread the art around. Usually those can still wear a black belt for the Ko Dansha ranks. So usually 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th for the Ko Dansha ranks. So you can wear a black belt for all of those. However, there are other belts that are used as well, red belt being one of them. But I'm not going to talk about the red belt yet. I'm going to go through some other belts first, and we'll come to the red belt at the very end. The first Ko Dansha belt I'm going to talk about is this one here. And this one's kind of weird. As you can see, it has red here, and then white here, and on the reverse side is black. This can be given out at 4th degree, 5th degree, and 6th degree black belt, or 5th Dan, 6th Dan, and 7th Dan. Typically, what you see is 2 systems. In one system, if you have a Rinchi title, you'll wear this belt right here to indicate that you're a Rinchi. Wearing it this way would indicate that you're a Rinchi 4th degree black belt. Now, other systems, they'll use it to say, this 4th Dan, 5th Dan, 6th Dan, whatever, is the head, or the most senior person in that grade range, while everyone else wears a black belt instead. Doesn't really matter. You just need to know whatever system or organization with, what are they using this to mean? Are they meaning this to use specifically the person has a Rinchi grade? The other way to indicate a Rinchi grade is that they'll wear a solid black belt, but they'll have 1 gold bar on it right here to indicate they have the Rinchi rank while wearing a black belt, instead of this fancy belt here. But anyhow, this right here is what's done if you're a 4th degree black belt wearing this sort of rank. And this is where it gets weird, because 4th Dan and 5th Dan are not Ko Dansha ranks, but this would be considered a Ko Dansha belt. Alright, so now if I have the belt worn this way, where the black is facing my body, and we now have the red on top and the white on bottom, this would mean that I have that Rinchi title and I'm a 5th degree black belt, or it just means I'm the senior 5th degree black belt in the area when I'm wearing this sort of belt right here. Now, some schools will do it the other way, flip the other way around. Doesn't matter. I don't even really like this belt, to be honest with you, because of the way it can be, put on in all sorts of different ways. 3 configurations to put this belt on, so that's why I don't really like it. And finally, we come to 6th degree black belt, or the first actual Ko Dansha grade, and now the belt starts to be since to being worn. But anyhow, now you got the red on bottom, the white on top, and what this is supposed to remind us is that we're standing on mastery, but don't forget the beginner's mind. And once flipped, the organization I came through, they didn't care about which way it was facing. They cared not at all. They didn't use the different ways. We actually never wore it with the black to the front. We always wore it with the black towards us. But that's what some other organizations do. But anyhow, this right here would be 6th degree black belt with a Rinchi title, or the most senior 6th degree black belt in the area. And now we come to the red-white panel belt. The red-white panel belt can indicate someone has the Kyoshi title, or they can wear a black belt with 2 gold bars on it to indicate the same thing. Now, the red-white panel belt can also mean someone has a 6th, 7th, or 8th degree black belt, depending on the sort of system being used. In my school, it no longer means Kyoshi, even though when I got it, it meant Kyoshi. I use it to indicate 6th, 7th, and 8th degree black belt, with 6th degree being awarded to a senior 6th degree in a region who has not made it to 7th or 8th degree black belt yet. So this right here is a purple belt, and this is also a master's level belt. This right here specifically if you have a Shihan in certain Japanese styles of martial arts. So 5th degree is typically where Shihan is awarded, so 5th degree and above would wear the purple belt. Now, I myself, I wanted to use the purple belt for our Kodansha ranks in my school because purple is the school color. As we see purple up in my logo up here. Purple's the school color for two reasons. One, it is the color of nobility. Two, it is the color of spirituality. But anyhow, no one really likes the purple belt, so no one wanted to use the purple belt. So I just have it on the shelf here because no one in my school wanted to use it, which is okay. Maybe I'll just use it for myself personally because it is raining really hard outside right now, because it does represent the school, because it is the school's color. Another note on this purple belt here, in some systems of Japanese martial arts, the purple belt here was given to people of noble stature that were training in martial arts schools so that they wouldn't wear a white belt with the commoners. So the commoners would wear a white belt, and those of noble stature would wear a purple belt to indicate that they were nobility. Now we get to the gold belt. So the gold belt, the color gold, represents enlightenment. And in the Okinawan martial arts, since the Okinawan martial arts are not actually Japanese martial arts and the belt system is Japanese, the Okinawans try to come up with a different system of colors for their belt system to make it different from the Japanese. And instead of using a red belt for mastery, they were going to go, we'll use gold belts for mastery. So this would be, the level that I'm at with the red belt equivalency if I was doing the Okinawan system. And I got this because I'm going, maybe we should just do the Okinawan system. The primary thing I teach is Okinawan martial arts. But again, I never even approached my students with this. What do you guys think about using gold belts instead of red belts? Doesn't really matter which belt color we use. But anyhow, the gold belt here was used by Okinawan martial arts. Some Chinese martial arts use a gold sash to represent sort of the same thing. But anyhow, this right here is another Kodansha belt. And finally, we get back to the red belt. So the red belt can mean Hanshi, or it can mean the most senior 8th, 9th, 10th dan in the system. If you have a Hanshi grade and you're wearing a black belt, you can have 3 gold bars to indicate that you have the Hanshi title. Anyhow, in my school, I don't use this to indicate Hanshi. I use it to indicate the most senior system, or the most senior person in the school that is 8th, 9th, or 10th dan. So I'm an 8th dan right now. I am the most senior person in my school, so I wear a red belt. The reason why I start wearing a red belt is I have all these belts on the shelf in the USA, and whenever I came to the Philippines last, back in November of 2022, just before I came back to the Philippines again, I decided to promote my most senior student in America to 6th dan, and I gave him my red white panel belt to indicate, because you can wear that at 6th, or 6th, 7th, and 8th dan, the red white panel belt. And I gave it to him at 6th dan because he's my most senior student in the USA, so he gets to wear that one. He's the most senior 6th dan in the USA under me. I have no one above the rank of 6th dan currently. So since I decided to give him that belt, instead of buying myself a brand new red white panel belt, I decided to go, I'll just go with the red belts and already have one on the shelf. I don't have to spend money to buy another one because these master belts can be expensive, and I didn't want to go spend 120, 150, whatever number of dollars it was to buy one of these. So basically, this is what I wear now. It just indicates I'm the most senior person in my school. I do not have the Hanshi title yet. I'm still a Kyoshi, but I'm the most senior 8th dan in my school, so I wear this one. If there were any other 8th dans in my school with me, then they would be wearing the red white panel belt, since we don't use these belts to indicate titles. Titles are just left on a piece of paper. We don't care about the titles. No one goes around calling me Kyoshi Kevin in my dojo. They just call me Sensei, or they call me by my first name, but I prefer them to call me Sensei in class than call me Kevin outside of my class. But calling me Sensei in class is important for any children in the class, so that they learn that aura of respect, so they don't get around going, oh, I can call, leadership, I can just go around just, call them whatever I want to call them. No, we're teaching them responsibility, leadership, and respect. So I want people to call me Sensei in the dojo, but outside the dojo, the adults can call me whatever. Kids, on the other hand, if they see me, they have to call me Sensei or an equivalent title if they see me out on the street. Now, I just want to conclude and say that there are other belts. So there are red and black panel belts. There are white and black panel belts. I've seen blue and white panel belts. There's a whole series of master belts out there beyond what I've shown you today. And they're used in other systems that I don't know enough about to be able to discuss why they use those colors or anything like that. I've even seen there's some Korean systems for 5th dan and higher that will use a midnight blue belt. And I can't remember which style of Korean martial arts does that, but that's another thing, a midnight blue belt. It's not too much different from a black belt because midnight blue is so close to being black that it's hard to distinguish, but they'll use midnight blue for their mastery level belts. But anyhow, thank you everybody for listening to my big long lecture on the subject. Y'all take care, God bless you all, and we'll see you all next time.